The room was silent, the only sounds being the subtle hum of the submarine's engines. The group of survivors had been traveling through the depths of the ocean, searching for a mythical underwater vault. It was said to contain a wealth of resources, enough to sustain a small community for the foreseeable future. The group had been traveling for weeks, having to make multiple stops in order to gather supplies and repair the aging vessel. But now, finally, the bathysphere was nearing its destination. "We're almost there," said the captain, his voice barely audible above the hum of the engines. "We should reach the entrance in a few minutes." The group waited in anticipation, all eyes glued to the small porthole in the front of the room. Suddenly there was a loud thunk, followed by a shimmering glow from outside the porthole. "We've made it," said the captain, a smile spreading across his face. The group of survivors crowded around the porthole, their eyes widening in amazement as they took in the sight before them. The entrance to the vault was a massive metal door, adorned with ancient symbols and hieroglyphs. The door was flanked by two enormous statues, each one standing guard like a sentinel. "It's incredible," one of the survivors whispered in awe. The captain nodded in agreement. "Let's get inside and take a look around," he said. The group moved slowly, taking in the grandeur of the entrance as they made their way to the door. Once they reached it, the captain stepped forward and placed his palm on the door. There was a loud click, followed by the sound of the door slowly opening. The group stepped inside, taking in the sight before them. The entrance opened up into a massive chamber, its walls lined with shelves and containers full of supplies and equipment. In the center of the room was a large table, its surface covered in maps and diagrams. The captain stepped forward and began to examine the maps, his eyes dotting back and forth as he studied them. After a few moments, he turned to the group and smiled. "We've made it," he said. "This is the vault we've been searching for." The group cheered and embraced each other, their relief palpable. They had made it to the vault, and now they had access to a wealth of resources. They could finally rest, knowing that they had a safe haven from the dangers of the outside world. The group quickly set to work, unloading supplies and exploring the various rooms of the vault. They found medical supplies, food, weapons, and even some advanced technology. With the supplies, they were able to set up a makeshift base of operations. For the next few weeks, the group worked hard to secure and fortify the vault. They built walls, set up defenses, and made sure that all of the supplies were secured. They even managed to construct a makeshift radio tower, so that they could keep in contact with the outside world. With their base of operations established, the group began to look for a way to make the best use of the resources at their disposal. They started to build a community, one that could thrive in the safety of the vault. Slowly but surely, the group of survivors began to rebuild their lives. They started to make plans for the future, and began to build a new and better life for themselves in the vault. But even as they started to rebuild, the group never forgot what had brought them here in the first place. They never forgot the dangers of the outside world, and the importance of staying in the safety of the vault. The group of survivors had found a place to call home, a place of safety and security. And although they did not know what the future would bring, they were confident that they would be able to survive and thrive in the safety of the underwater vault.